Hi everyone. So finally the wait is over. The exam that was most sought after, the IPMAT Indore, got finally over today. But let me ask you, how was it for you? So you can, reply in the comment section like how was the exam went? I mean, how did the exam went for you with respect to the number of attempt that you made in each section, short answer, MCQ, and verbal ability. I would love to hear from all of you. Okay. Now moving on to the paper pattern and analysis, the most expected thing, I am sure you guys are waiting for the expected cutoff, and that too category wise. We will give you the expected cutoff category wise. Now just an asterisk mark, this is the expected cutoff based on the responses that we have got from the students, the questions that students have shared with us, and based on that, this is the expected cutoff. However, we also shared the similar cutoff last year and last to last year, and we were almost there, plus or minus 1 or 2 marks here and there, but almost the expected cutoff was online. So this year also, once the response sheet is out, we will come with the exact cutoff, and this year we will also come up with the ATS score which is expected of the from the raw score. So moving ahead, this was the paper pattern, no change in the paper pattern. The order of section remains the same, the sectional time limit +4 and 0 for short answer, MCQ and verbal ability had +4 -1. There was no change in the paper pattern. Okay. Yeah. Okay, we'll come to that, everyone. You can keep on. I am reading your chat, so I will reply to all your chats once we are done with this. Okay, moving on to the short answer section. Now, this was the easiest of all section, is what students said, because in verbal also there were some lengthy passages and there was some tricky question, but this was most easiest of all. There are many students who said that they were able to attempt 12, 13. Some of them also said they attempted 15. However, last year also similar was the feedback, that it went very easy, but then when the actual result were out, students had made silly mistakes, and that is bound to happen because that generally happen in a short answer section where student makes silly errors. Okay, because the questions are designed in such a way. But however, there was a question based on percentage, basic percentage Fahrenheit Celsius data was given. One question on profit and loss, and one question was there on compound interest, 2 years annual interest was given, and there were 3 questions on arithmetic. Then there were 2 questions on time speed distance, one on races and the another was on relative speed. There was one easy question on cyclic quadrilateral, one very basic easy question on remainders. There were 2 questions on algebra, linear, quadratic, and polynomial, and there were 2 questions on inequalities, maxima, minima. One of the inequality question that I could remember was, something was number of possible values of n, where some, the numerator was okay, that was asked in my bad, that was asked in the MCQ section. But otherwise, yes, there were 2 questions on inequality, maxima, minima related. One very difficult question on matrices. So this generally most of the students they left it, and there were 3 very easy puzzle based question where student where in this puzzle that at least some of the criteria was supposed to be met, and some kind of a matrix arrangement puzzle was there, and this was very easy. All the students were able to attempt all the 3 questions because the paper was easy, because the section was easy. We said that the overall difficulty of the section was easy. However, once the response sheet is out, we will get to know whether it was easy and it was straightforward, or it was easy and tricky. Okay, the good attempt based on the student response, it should be somewhere around 9 to 12, and good score should be somewhere in the range of 36 to 40. Now, this is not the cutoff, mind you, this is not the cutoff, this is the good score. I am sure by now everyone knows that there is a difference between the cutoff and the good score, because your cutoff will only fetch you the interview call, but to get the admission, you need to have substantial higher overall score to have a great good ATS score, right? Uh, so based on that, the good score, we are saying anywhere in the range of 36 to 40 will be a very good score. However, even with 32 and relatively more marks in MCQ or verbal ability, you still have a chance to score overall good score, because we have seen students scoring 150, 160 in verbal ability in last couple of few years. So even if you score 28 or 32 here and maybe slightly lesser in MCQ, but your verbal ability is 160, 170, then your overall score will be very high again, right? I got 5 correct. What is the chance with the 5 correct? I think, with the 20 in a general category, if you're a general category student, seems very difficult to clear the cutoff, because last year cutoff was 24 marks. And this year, since the paper was easier than the last year, we want to believe that the cutoff will remain the same or it will slightly go up. Uh, okay. Moving on to the MCQ section. So in MCQ section, we were not able to get all the 30 questions, but most of the student attempted these questions, and which means that this were the one which were category type A or a type B question, the doable one, the easy and the moderate one, and the students left the difficult one. Okay. The one very important thing which will matter the most when it comes to identifying or figuring out what the cutoff would be, because this year the tabular data was very easy in terms of calculation. There were, last year if we compare the 5 questions, they were calculation lengthy. This year it was very easy. Some student did not attempt, assuming that DI generally comes to be difficult, but this year it was very easy. All those who attempted the DI, they were able to attempt 5 questions in 10 to 11 minutes. This is the feedback that I have got from the students. The students were able to attempt in 10 to 11 minutes, which means in 10 minutes you have 20 marks in your pocket. Now you have another 30 minutes to score more marks. Which means, if that is true, if the DI was not tricky and many students were able to get those 20 marks, in that case, probably the cutoff will slightly go above. I'm saying slightly go above. Okay. Yeah. Yes, so I can also read the comment that DLR was very easy, 5 on 5 correct confirm. Alright, that's what the feedback that even we have got from the students. Moving on to the breakup, the other question, the average ratio proportion questions were on the easier side. In ratio proportion, some change in the number was given, and then you were supposed to find out the new ratio, so it was easy. Time and work, alternate days, very basic question that have been done in the concept books, the concept lecture, the basic lectures, time, speed, distance question. Again, it was very easy. Coordinate geometry questions. The question was, like it was 2 raised to x minus x square is equal to 0. How many values of x are possible? Then there was question based on, some was how many integral values satisfy x square plus y square less than equal to 10. Now student generally makes a mistake here. A, they don't consider equal to, B, they don't consider negative sign. If it is on integral value, then the x and y can also become negative, they can also become 0, and the equation can also become equal to 10. So this was a tricky question in terms of student could have made mistakes in this particular question. Okay, then there was an arithmetic question which was based on the rupee denomination, and 50 rupees, 25 paise, 50 paise, 25 paise coins were given in the ratios. That was the question which was particularly asked in the arithmetic question. Moving on to logarithm, surds and indices. Now there were 3 questions on logarithm. One was identified as a easy one, and the other 2 were moderate, difficult, lengthy question on logarithm. Then in set theory, PNC probability, though there were 2 set theory question. One set theory was a set of 4 maxima minima was supposed to be figured out. One set theory was very easy combination, only A, only B, only C data was given, and it was easy one. The PNC probability question was based on dice. Sum was supposed to be equal to 17 when you roll a 3 dice. That was fairly easy question on a probability. How many ways you can select a number from 1 to 9 such that the product of the 3-digit number is multiple of 4. So again, a PNC question. So roughly around 4 to 5 questions based on set theory, probability and PNC. On the face of it, it looks to be easy to moderate, except one set theory question which was difficult. 4 set maxima minima. Otherwise, the rest of the question from set theory, probability and PNC seems to be doable one. Sequence and series, there were a couple of questions. Like there was one question on AP, which was slightly different in terms of they had given that the starting term of an arithmetic progression can be 132 or a 158, and the common difference should be less than 10, which should be an even integer, and then the possible values of n, common terms. That was the question on AP. But I spoke to couple of students and they said that it was type A. They were able to solve the question. So, not a big deal. Functions inequality graphs, there were around two or three odd questions. Not get the exact number, but there were around two, three questions on functions, graphs, and inequality. Then there was matrices and determinant question in MCQ as well. Now, this question was relatively very easy. All the students that I spoke to were able to solve it. The essay section was very difficult. In MCQ, it was very easy. I get to know that there was one more question. If m is a positive integer, find the values of 6m plus k, which is never a perfect square. Again, this seems to be a easy or a type A question, type B or a type A question. On the face of it, it looks doable, probably slightly calculation here and there. But again, so this is the question that I just now received from one of the students. Yes, so this was the breakup of the MCQ section, and we say that good attempt around 13 to 17. However, some of the students were able to attempt 18, 20 plus also. But then we'll have to see the correctness of and the accuracy in those question type. But again, based on the feedback from the students, this is what we say, that 13 to 17 was a good attempt. Maybe around 42 to 45 marks would be a good score, considering you score 20 on 20 here. If you don't score 20 here, if you do not attempt 5 questions on DI, probably achieving those 42 to 45 will become a difficult task. Okay, moving on to, okay, I can see, yeah, denomination question. I just said, rupee wala question, 2 rupee, 5 rupee, 10 rupee question was there. Uh, you will get the questions once the response sheet is out. You cannot see the questions right now. Only once the response sheet is out, you will be able to see the question, what did you mark, and what is the correct answer key. Yes, very good. Said that option elimination could have been worked great. Okay. 13 to 14 question part, again, as I said, that's what I said. Anything between 13 to 17 with a good accuracy, 13 attempt with a good accuracy, let's say you get around 11 correct and 2 wrong, you still score 42. I think that's a very good score, I would say that. So you still have a very decent chance, Parth. Okay, let's move to verbal ability. Now, this is where I would say that many students were able to do very good, and some of the students although panicked because of one RC set which was relatively difficult, lengthy, and a tricky. The second RC which was related to animals. The interview and the impact of social media. All the students suggested that this was an easy RC paragraph set. So there were 18 questions on reading comprehension, around 3 to 4 grammar. Now again, there were mix of opinion that some of the students said there were some around 15 to 16 fill in the blank question. Some of them said that 8 to 10 grammar question. However, what we have realized is that when we say fill in the blank, grammar also becomes part of fill in the blanks if it is asked in such a way. Some of the students also included idioms as vocabulary, and so there were 3 questions on idioms. Again, 2 of them were relatively easier, one arm's length and cost of a there are some, I forgot that idiom right now, but then otherwise both the idiom that student gave was easy. There is vocabulary, adjective, something related to adjective. You have to replace the underlined adjective with some other word, the meaningful word. Again, vocabulary, synonyms could be said synonyms. But that synonym has to be an adjective, right? There was 5 parajumble question. There were no 5 sentence. That was a good part. Student could have saved time here. The parajumble that IPMAT Indore tested had only 4 sentences. The para completion question, students said that it was tricky. There were few questions. There were 2 questions. Students said that they were confused between 2 options, and in one question, all the options were, they were able to fit in. It was logically making sense. So overall, verbal ability there was one RC which was lengthy, which was the case last year also. Apart from that, there was, as I said, adjective replacement question that was slightly different this year, but otherwise, it was a vocabulary question, synonyms you need to figure out. More or less, the paper pattern remained the same as it was last year also. A good attempt anywhere in the range of 38 to 40 with a good score of 135 to 140. For all those who have joined late, yes, thank you, Paz. It was cost, an arm and a leg. Yeah, thank you. Okay. Good score again, 135 to 140. As I said in the beginning, do not get confused between good score and the cutoff. Good score is meant to have such that your overall score goes very high. I mean, you are able to score 210, 220 plus. That's the objective of giving a good score. Otherwise, cutoff will obviously be lesser than the good score. Now, the most important thing, let's say Smarth, don't cry, 36 attempt, let's say I am saying the good, don't focus on this, focus on a good score. Okay, if I am saying you attempted 130, you have attempted 30, attempted 144 marks. So even if you are able to get 130 here somewhere, I forgot, yeah, Smart Chaudhary, if you are, even if you are able to get 130, 125, 130 here, and if you are able to cope up in the QA, short answer and MCQ section, I think that's the deal. Your objective should be to scoring 215, 220, somewhere in that range overall, so that you have a very good chance of converting IIM Indore. Around with 205, 210, it becomes a decent chance. Your interviews need to go very good. Okay, so don't be sad about it. You have many exams left, and don't lose hope here. You never know. The feedback, the first feedback from the students may go wrong. That's what happened last year in the short answer section. The cutoff went up to 24. Everyone was predicting 16 to 20, and it went up to 24. Okay, we predicted around 20, 24, and it actually came out to be 24. So don't be disheartened. Don't feel sad about it. Fill in the blanks was so bad. Yes, that's what I have heard from few students, that fill in the blank was difficult. What do you think cutoff can be? Yes, Derek, I am coming to the cutoff. Para completion seemed all similar, especially the growth rate and the death rate one of China. Okay, when will the response be out? The response sheet generally is generally out. Sorry, maybe around 3 to 4 days. Maybe you can expect somewhere, on today we are on Monday, so you can expect somewhere on Wednesday, latest by Thursday is what you can expect. Okay. So this is where you were waiting for. For a general category, so we have given the cutoff of all the category based on last 2 years cutoff trend and the feedback from the student this year. If the QA short answer section was easy and straightforward, it may go up to 28. If it was easy and tricky, it may be around 24. Okay, but obviously it will not go up to 32. It seems to be very difficult to go below 24 also, because there were 3 logical reasoning question and students were able to attempt them. The 12 marks are in your pocket anyways. Okay. Moving on to the QA MCQ, the last year cutoff was 28 because there were 5 very straightforward DI questions. We are expecting the cutoff to go high. However, student also reported that the QA questions in MCQ section were difficult than the PYQs. So that's why we are not increasing this cutoff by around 8 to 10 marks. We are saying that probably around you get 20 more marks in DI. Not exactly 20 more marks, probably around 2 to 3 question more in DI as compared to last year, around 8 to 12 marks more there, and maybe around 3-4 marks less in the MCQ section. So around maybe around max 4 5 marks, the cutoffs can go high. It can be in the range of 29 to 33. And we have verbal ability section, there have not been a major change in the verbal ability paper pattern style, the type of question. So we don't see any reason why the cutoff can go below 110 and it should go above 114 or 115. 115 is the max that it should go. It should not go beyond that. Again, as I said, this is based on the student feedback, the first feedback that we got from the student. As soon as the response sheet is out, we will also come out with the actual cutoff, what the actual cutoff should look like. Okay. For the EWS category, the cutoff will be 16, 18 to 20 and 87 to 89. NC OBC, it should be 12 to 16 marks, 15 to 16 marks and 17 68 to 79 marks. PWD it should be 8, 6 to 7, 48 to 49. SC category it should be 12, 10 to 11 and 66 to 67. That's the typo there, my bad. And for ST category should be around 8, 6 to 7 and 48 to 49 marks. This should be the cutoff of various category. So yes, if you have any other question, if you have any further question, please do let us know. I am here to help you out with respect to. Let's not discuss the answers right now, because I think you guys should go and relax tonight. Don't think too much. On 10th you have an IPM at Rohtak, so you need to don't discuss answer key with your friend. Don't discuss. That is why I did not discuss multiple answers that I knew already from the student. We did not discuss because there is no point in disheartening my answer went wrong. I'm glad that my answer went right. So there's no point in discussing that. Do not discuss any answer with anyone. Whatever it is, it is. It is done and dust. You have given the paper, you have completed it. Now forget it. When the response sheet is out, we will look then. Or probably you can look at your response sheet after you write the Rohtak paper also. Okay. I'll just check if there are any other queries or any other. Okay. No, I don't see any other questions. Okay, fine. Then thank you very much. Thank you everyone. All the best for the result and all the best for your IPMAT Rohtak preparation. See you soon. Bye bye everyone. Tata.